Welcome back. Welcome back to another conversation all around emotional intelligence, embodied leadership, how to really access more power, more potency, and more magnetism in our lives. I'm so glad that you have joined us. I actually decided completely last minute this morning that I wanted to have this conversation as I was walking back from taking my daughter to school. I walk her to school every morning. As I was walking back, there's something that really came up for me, and I've been talking about it a lot in some of my private communities and some of the private coaching containers that I have. And it's this idea of really being able to deepen our confidence. And it's funny because especially when I practiced as a psychotherapist, I would say that confidence was one of the goals that almost every single client articulated. It was one of these goals that every single client that came in to work with me when I was practicing clinically, it was always part of the goals. It was always part of the work. It was always one of those things that, particularly the women that I worked with, they always desired to have more confidence. They always desired to feel confident in a variety of different settings. And so, working with women and helping them to expand their confidence became such a core part of the work that I did. It became a core part of probably every conversation that I had. And I began to understand that confidence and feeling confident and accessing confidence is a core need that we have. It truly is. I've yet to meet a human being that doesn't desire to feel more confident, regardless of where they are at in their lives. So that's the conversation that I want us to have today. And this particular conversation that we're going to have feels a little different for me, because I'm calling this and I'm thinking about this as how to actually deepen our confidence, how to really move towards that deep sense of confidence, that deep sense of self trust. And so, as my work has evolved, as I've evolved personally, where I get really excited and the conversations that I get really, really excited to have are the conversations not about those surface level strategies and tactics that can allow us to feel confident or allow us to feel powerful in a particular moment or when the circumstances line up. But how do we really access our personal power? How do we really access that deeper sense of potency in our lives? How do we access that inner confidence that actually creates more magnetism in our lives? Those are the conversations that I'm really here for at this stage of my life and that get me really excited. And so when I'm working with women and we're talking about how to actually stay in our personal power regardless of external circumstances, that's what I'm talking about when I say, how do we actually deepen our confidence? So, the concept that I want to bring to you today and the conversation that I really want us to have is about wisdom. Wisdom. And one of the things that I said, I think it was last week in one of my private containers, I said that, when we think about deepening our confidence, really the way to do that, the way forward when it comes to deepening our confidence, it really comes back to wisdom. It comes back to tapping into our wisdom. It comes back to understanding the power of our innate wisdom. And it really comes back to, seeking opportunities to actually foster and ignite wisdom in our own lives. So, what do I mean by that? So, one of the biggest shifts that I've made, I would say, in my own journey of personal growth and personal development is I have slowed down tremendously in my own life. If you've spent some time in my world, you know that I'm a self proclaimed recovering type A overachieving taskaholic. Like this is just I used to be go 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 go. The faster I could get it done, the better. I had a huge to-do list, a huge task list, and for me, life and the accomplishments that went with it was always like about the volume. It was always about the quantity. How much could I get done in a really short amount of time? And one of the biggest things that has shifted for me is I have really come to understand the power of slowing down. The power of slowing down so that we can actually go deeper, and when we allow ourselves to slow down and when we allow ourselves to go deeper, I actually believe that we get further faster, right? Remember, my dad used to always say to me growing up, because, this like quick pace that I moved at was something that I've done since I was a little kid. And he used to say to me, particularly when I was getting stuck with homework, is he would say to me, Sham, slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. And it was his way. And I really didn't get it. Like I was like, what? How could slow and steady win the race? Like that doesn't even make sense. Why would slow and steady win the race? Like if it's a race, we gotta go, right? We gotta speed through this. We gotta make sure that we're moving as quickly as possible. And that's how I approach life is like, how can I get through this as quickly as possible? And when I learned that there is so much power in slowing down so that we can deepen our experiences, this is when I really learned to tap into my inner wisdom. This is when I really learned to tap into my intuition. And this is when I really learned to fine tune my ability to trust myself. And what I learned is that my confidence, my personal sense of confidence, my personal sense of power really deepened when I was able to slow down enough to hear wisdom, to hear the inner wisdom, to actually begin to ask the right questions that allowed me to what is it? Actually allowed me to almost like extract all the potency out of each experience that I went through, and particularly the difficult experiences. So, one of the things that has become really clear to me about wisdom is most potently available to us in the valleys of our life. Wisdom is most powerful and most like obviously and clearly available to us in those difficult seasons of our life. And what I used to do when life was challenging, what I used to do when things felt really difficult is I would actually try to move away from the challenge and move away from the difficulty as quickly as possible. Like I would do whatever I could to fix it, right? Rather than heal through it, rather than grow through it, and rather than glean the wisdom that was available to me through each of those situations, I would actually avoid those situations at all costs. I'm recording this live. I don't know if you can hear I don't know what lawnmower, there's some kind of background noise. So please ignore that if you can hear it. Um, but rather than like pause and allow myself to really learn from this experience, deepen my wisdom, deepen my confidence, become more of who I'm called to be, what I would do is, because it was so uncomfortable for me, I would try to avoid it. I would try to skip through it really quickly. I would just try to move away from it. I was like very much a fix it type of person. Like if I could fix it quickly, I would fix it quickly rather than stay in the experience long enough to allow the experience to change me, to transform me, to strengthen me, to develop more resilience in me. So, what I'd love to share with you today is perhaps a few journal prompts, a few questions that you can begin to ask yourself that would really help, that will help you to extract, if you will, more wisdom from your personal experiences so that you can actually deepen your own sense of confidence. So, I think one of the biggest shifts we want to make in our perspective, and we can use this as a journal prompt, is looking at each and every difficulty, each and every challenge that comes our way as an opportunity rather than a problem. Right? Looking at each and every challenge, each and every difficulty that comes our way, can we look at it as an opportunity rather than a problem that we are presented with? And one of the questions that I ask myself often is I actually stopped asking myself, why is this happening to me? And I started asking myself, why is this happening for me? What am I meant to learn in this scenario, in this situation, in this challenge, in this difficulty? Where is there an area where I need to grow? Is there an area where perhaps I have a blind spot? Is there an area where I'm still feeling fragile? Is there an area where perhaps I need to learn to lead myself more powerfully so that I can unlock that next level in my life? Um, I was never like a huge video game player, but I remember this is going to age me, but I remember Super Mario Brothers. I remember that video game because a lot of my friends played that video game. I had cousins that played that video game, and it was like really it was a big thing when I was a kid. And if I remember correctly, as someone who wasn't playing, but but witnessed others playing Super Mario Brothers, there were different levels. There were different levels within the game. I think most video games are set up this way, where there are different levels within the game. And in order to unlock the next level, in order to access the next level, in order to play at the next level, there were certain challenges that you needed to complete. And as you completed those challenges, I think your points added up, your strength added up, your resilience added up, all of those things sort of compounded. And once you hit a certain number of points, you could unlock that next level. Well, I think the same is true of our lives. I think the same concept, the same principle applies to our lives, where as we tap into the wisdom that's available to us inside of the difficult moments of our lives, the challenges that we go through. And sometimes these are day to day. Like, how do we respond to the day to day stress? How do we respond to the day to day overwhelm? How do we lead ourselves through those moment to moment experiences? As well as how do we lead ourselves through some of the bigger experiences, through some of the bigger challenges that we might go through? And how we lead ourselves through those experiences, I believe, is what actually makes us available for that next level. Right. So if you're feeling stuck in a particular area of your life, or if you're feeling like you're circling around the same issue again and again and again, and you're not seeing any movement, I would invite you to think through, have I learned the lesson that is available for me in this particular experience? Have I gleaned the wisdom that is whispering to me through this particular challenge? And as we learn, like I believe it's like a muscle, right? Like we can actually condition ourselves to lean into the difficulties, lean into the wisdom, lean into the experiences. The more we do that, the more we get used to seeing every single challenge as an opportunity to unlock that next level, right? So if you want to keep playing a bigger game, like I definitely want to keep playing a bigger game in my life. Like for me, there's always going to be a next level. There's always going to be um a next level to my ascension, the next level to my power, my potency, my magnetism. I don't see this journey as ever ending. And so if I am a woman who desires to consistently play at the next level, I always desire to hit up against that next level and seek the wisdom that will allow me to access it, that will allow me to unlock it. So, if that resonates for you, one of the things I would really encourage you to practice so that you're able to deepen your confidence is I would really encourage you to practice this idea of seeking the wisdom that is available to you in every single challenge that you are presented with. One of the things I also want to mention, because I've been talking so much about wisdom, I've been talking so much about self trust, I've been talking about personal power, I've been talking about potency and magnetism so much in my world, that I have had questions about how to work with me in a more intimate way. I have a 3-month private mentorship package that is currently open. I have only a few spots available for that because it is a very intensive way of working with me. It is my highest touch container, meaning the 3-month coaching package, the 3-month mentorship package is the only package that gives you really close proximity to me and to my work. So it allows us to walk together on a daily basis for a 3-month period of time. It gives you private calls with me. We have 4 every single month, so a total of 12 calls. You also have daily access to me via Voxer. It's a voice note app that allows you to get in touch with me and stay in touch with me so that we can truly walk together on a day to day basis through your life for a period of 3 months. It also gives you access to any live programs that I am teaching during that 3-month period, as well as 1 year access to one of our flagship programs called the Relationship Lab. This is a flagship program that we have inside of my company, the EQ Code, that allows you to access a very robust curriculum plus monthly group skills clinics with myself and my team. So it's sort of an all access pass. So, if you've been in my world and you are a woman who really wants to increase her ability to stay in her personal power, you really want to be able to communicate fearlessly, regardless of how difficult the conversation is, and you really want to learn how to lead yourself with unwavering confidence in every single area of your life, and you want to do that with me, there's something about the way that I work, my energy that feels like it is in alignment for you, I want you to reach out. We're going to, if you're watching this inside of the EQ Lab, you can just drop a message here below the video. If you are listening to this on the podcast, we're going to link up where you can reach me inside of the show notes. If it feels like it might be a good fit, I would absolutely love to journey with you over the summer so that you can kick off September with more power, more potency, and more magnetism. All right, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this conversation, and I will see you again soon.